Hello, Realtors. This is Tony Geraci, broker and owner of Century 21 Homestar. And today is Monday, March 18th, 2024. And thank you very much for watching today. So today's topic is, and I've been getting this question or pseudo question a lot over the last several days. If my voice sounds a little raspy, I've been on the phone almost every minute I've been awake the last few days with realtors from all over, brokers and owners from all over, especially our Century 21 Homestar agents. But the question is, what do I tell my current sellers and future sellers if they don't want to pay a certain kind or type of buyer? So to anybody that's watching this or any of my videos, this is your first video you ever watched, I just want to give you a 2 second or 2 minute of my history of real estate and my resume of being a broker. No, I've been in real estate 31 years, broker and owner for over 25 years, been with the Century 21 system 19 years. Our office sells over 2,000 plus homes a year. Every one of our agents, we have over 500 active agents that I mentor and help every day. In my career of being a broker, I've been involved and responsible for well over 35,000 sales in probably I calculating $3 trillion in real estate. So I say that not to, self-promote, but when I'm seeing videos and YouTube videos and TikToks and articles and quotes, I don't see any from agents. There's so many great agents, but I don't see the footnotes of what makes them qualified to say these things. And I'm going to ruffle some feathers in this, and this is going to be another long video, but I want to make my point across. Is what's happening in our real estate business is that we're going to get into, and disclaimer, these are my thoughts. I'm not an attorney. These are my opinions. I'm not telling you as agents out there do 100% what Tony says, but I'm telling you my feelings and what I would do in things what I would say. And I just want to let you know, just, I'm recording this once. I'm not filtering it. I'm just talking like I'm talking one-on-one with any of my agents, like I've been so many times over the last several days. And if my voice goes out, I apologize. So this question, number one, and I won't go too much into detail, I'm going to stick to that topic, is that there's so many videos and agents thinking that sellers will not pay buyers agents. I have so many agents like, oh my God, we're not going to get paid anymore. That's absolutely false. Will sellers pay agents? To summarize what happened with the National Association of Realtors and should happen and be finalized by July if nothing changes, the only two changes or three things that happen, there's only three things that happen. One, the MLS will no longer show what a buyer's commission might be. They did not say sellers can't pay buyer's agent. It just will no longer be on there. Two, we hopefully, like I said in past videos, hopefully we will have a required National Association of Realtors across the whole country required buyer's agency agreements. Please, I hope that happens. That was my last video. And three, and the National Association of Realtors settling these lawsuits for $418 million. So those, as we know it, that's the only three things, and people are reading into it. Like I saw a national CNN article, the 6% standard traditional commission of real estate is gone. 100% false. Will there be people that pay 6%? Yes. Will there be people that pay lower? Yes. Will there be people that pay more? Yes. There's been nothing that has been said of what we as agents, as sellers agents, buyers agents can charge our client for our services. So with that being said, let me go into a little bit of a listing presentation because this is the question I'm getting. And this is what I've been telling my agents thoughts and what to tell sellers when they see the news. Like, I don't want to pay buyers agents. There's different angles, but this, I'm just, I have notes that I'm going to be working on with my partner, Brenda, in our office to get all of the different things. But the number one thing, like elevator pitch right off the bat, someone comes to you and says, my seller doesn't want to pay buyer's agents. And my first reaction to that to a seller is why? Why? Because you're going to be, said in our opinion, and this is that you're going to be, and use this term lightly, discriminating, pushing away certain people. Why would you want to discriminate against certain buyers? I use that term lightly, discrimination. First thing people think is protected classes. Now, I'm not talking about protected classes. I'm talking about just discrimination. Just the definition of discrimination is pushing away or not associating with or saying these type of people I don't want to have anything to do with. So the seller says, I don't want to pay buyer's agents. Well, these are the things that we feel. One, you're discriminating or pushing away veterans. Why would you want to push away veterans? And seller might say, well, how am I pushing away veterans? Well, if you make the blanket statement when I take your listing or market your home and I say we will 100% won't pay a buyer's agent. I'm not talking about you have to pay what you have to pay a buyer's agent, just the blanket statement of a seller saying, I am not paying a buyer's agent. I don't care what the deal is, nothing. I feel it's discriminatory. VA clients. Do you, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, and any seller you're talking to, are you a veteran? Do you know veterans? Oh, yes, yes, yes. Why would you want to discriminate them about buying a house? Because when they get a VA loan, they can't pay for their agent. It's not allowed in their loan. So you're discriminating, in my term, against VA buyers. Why would you want to do that? That limits the amount of buyers you see to your house. Next, they have that conversation. Next, how about people that just haven't saved up enough money? I know some great people that make lots of money that do well and do lots, but they just don't save any of it and they want to buy a house. And they just have barely enough for a down payment and closing costs. But I know doctors, I know lawyers, I know engineers that just terrible at saving. So you want to discriminate against people that could afford $1 million house. They just don't have the money to save up to, on top of all the other things that they're going to have to pay, just haven't saved enough to pay their own buyer's agent. Why would you want to discriminate against someone that's just not good at saving on that? Again, back to the blanket statement. I'm not a seller saying to you, I'm not paying a buyer's agent no matter what. Next, I'll get a little deeper into this, into explaining to a seller exactly what you're paying for and some of the things, because there's many, as a buyer's agent. Why would you want to discriminate against somebody that speaks a different language? What do you mean by that? How am I discriminating? Now, if you say you don't want to pay a buyer's agent, and you just want them to call me as a listing agent, and you want me to write offers for them, and because if they can't afford it or whatever, what happens if their best friend is an agent? They speak Spanish or Korean or Japanese or French or whatever, and they're using their agent because they have a language that they can communicate with. I don't speak any of those languages. I'm not going to help. I don't even know any agents that speak French. And if you have someone that just speaks French from coming over, move into our area, I don't know how to help them. I can't help them. I can't write up the offer. I don't know how am I going to do that for you? So I would not want you to us in this venture of selling a house, discriminate against someone that speaks another language because they want their agent to, but well, they have to pay for that. Well, what happens again? Back to they don't have the money. Maybe they're a veteran and speak another language. I don't know. Two, another, why you might want to discriminate against people handicapped, someone that's in a wheelchair. Well, how would that, how would I discriminate against that? There are buyer's agents out there that are friends, family with people of disabilities, and they trust them to drive them to houses and to drive their van, or they might have a van, or they might have accessible equipment as an agent as part of their value proposition to bring that buyer to the house and get them into the house and in and out, and they know them, friends, relatives, whoever, that are agents. And you're going to say, I don't want to pay that agent. And that, again, back to they can't afford it, whatever. And that's one of the values. They pick their buyer's agent because they know and trust them, because they are disabled, and help them in and out of the van, or they have their own van, or they're a friend or family. They want to use them because they feel comfortable with that agent, because they could help them with their physical needs showing houses. That's a possibility. Next, to sellers that might say, well, my house is going to go fast, and I don't think I have to pay a buyer's agent because it's such a hot house. I go, okay, let me explain to you, Mr. Mrs. A buyer seller, is that you are we're going to get so many people that want to see your house. And you are compensating one buyer's agent when they sell your house, but you are actually paying for an unlimited amount of buyer's agents to work for you for free. So when you say to buyer's agents before you sell, all of you, if you are the winner, if you are the one that we accept, thank you, please work for me, or work to help sell my house for free until we get you that point. Well, how are agents working for me for free? Well, when we put your house on the market, I think we're going to get 20 showings in your first 2 days. People are just going to just fall in. And you're going to compensate all of those buyers agents by just compensating one for bringing all of their buyers to the house. Well, what happens? They could just call you as a listing agent. Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, I don't have the time to show 20 buyers. If you had 20 buyers, imagine it's half hour to an hour of my time getting there, getting set up, showing the house, leaving, locking up, coming an hour. I don't have 20 hours, which is half a week, half of my work week, to put into sitting at your house. I don't have 20 hours. And that's if we schedule them all one after another. I have to manage calling these buyers back, setting up times. It might be a language barrier, it might be a time barrier. These buyers agents out there they're doing all the work. They're talking to the 20 buyers. They're scheduling, and they have relationships with them. They don't know how to communicate with them. They are at their beck and call. They're going to show your house when it's convenient for them. And to those sellers, because I've had agents, this is all a conversation that I've had with agents, the negotiations and the objection handling. What happens if a seller says to me, well, I'll do all the showings. I go, you'll do all the showings then? Great. Don't you have a job? Because these people are going to come all hours of the day. Oh, over the weekend, you have children. Don't you want to go to their soccer games? Don't you have parties to go to? Don't you want to go out for dinner on a Saturday night? Because on Saturday night, people are going to be showing your house. Do you want to go out to dinner? Do you want to have friends over? Oh yeah. Do you want to do things? You can't, we want as many buyers in there as possible over the next few days, weeks, whenever, to bring the highest and best price. And all those buyers agents are going to bring them at whenever it's possible for them. Then hypothetically, the sellers get through that and they go, well, let's just have everybody come like an open house on Saturdays and Sundays. You'll sit here, every buyer come like a cattle call, because I've had agents say that. Well, I'll just have, I've heard listing agents, well, I'll just, instead of doing showings every week, I'll just say showings on Saturday, Sunday. I'll sit at that house all of the time. Or for a weekend, and have everybody come at the same time. Well, we might miss out on buyers that have jobs that can't come during the week, because not everybody works 9 to 5. They can't all come on the weekends. But say you say that, okay, great. All right, now we have all these people that came in over the weekend and that don't have buyers representation. They just are coming through me as a listing agent, and 20 of them want to write offers. Now, a good agent from start to finish that's with a buyer that knows what has a relationship and knows how to communicate with them and has built a relationship with them. I, as a listing agent, now have to talk to them and connect with them and write up 20 different offers. Now, I'm a great agent, but 20 different offers. Each offer probably I take a minimum, it takes about a minimum of an hour of my time to research, talk to the buyers, what's their needs and wants, what they want to offer, what they want down payment is, talk to their lender, make sure they're pre-approved, make sure I'm bringing you 20 offers and to vet them all in an hour. That's so conservative. Could be 2 hours. We'll just say 2 hours to talk. If you want me to do a really good job and call their lender, get a pre-approval, make sure that they presenting an offer and playing phone tag with 20 different people over times 2 hours per person, that's 40 hours of my time. That's a whole week, a work week for someone. Do I have time? I don't have time for that. I'm a great agent. I work almost 24/7. I don't have an extra 40 hours next week to just take to go through 20 different offers for you. That's just writing the offer. Now, communicating with all those people, crazy. It's impossible to do that. So why would I, as a listing agent, put you as a seller in that type of situation to not bring you the highest and best price? Now, I know it looks simple, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, when you think it's just one buyer walking in the door, talking to me, writing up an offer, you accepting it. Great. Yeah, that could happen. But that, to me personally, unethical of me, unprofessional of me, because I know that's not going to bring you the highest and best price. So I, as an agent, have to bring my ethics into it. Again, disclaimer, this is my opinion, personally cannot accept a listing without offering some type of compensation to a buyer's agent. Remember, this is not my money. I'd rather have the money, money to me, money to you. I ethically can't take this listing because I know it's not going to bring you highest and best. It's just not. I feel that way. And I explain it. That's just some of the things that would happen with your listing if we don't offer something. Now, next section, to some agents. Well, I'm not going into percentages. I didn't say how much you had to offer. I just want our sellers, without going into our percentages or what's going to happen in the future, but I would hope this will happen, at least for our sellers, that though all of our future sellers will have at least be okay with entertaining what a buyer's agent wants. This is the next thing. All right, ready for it? This is some listing training of Tony with his crystal ball and what's going to happen. The seller goes, okay, fine. I don't want to put a dollar amount, a percentage of what we offer. Just tell all the buyer's agents, I'm happy to negotiate with you. Okay. My opinion, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, sounds like a great idea. Do you really want to leave that open? Well, yeah, because I'm 100% in control of that. Yeah, you are. But my feeling, if we don't tell them an amount up front, they might try to take advantage. Like, oh, it's open. I can do anything. If we tell them this is what it is, then we're telling them this is the max, this is the minimum and maximum. Please don't muddy up the waters with any of your transactions. This is what you're willing to pay. If not, if we leave it open, you're going to get agents, and I'm just throwing out 1%, 3%, 4%, 5%, 6%. You might get someone at 8%. Like, oh, that's way too high. Why? It's open. It's an open market. They could ask for, you're just told them you could ask for whatever they want in the deal. And I'm okay with that if you're okay with that, but you just want you to know that that might happen. You're opening up the door, which if you want to do that, go ahead. But I don't suggest it. I suggest this is what we offer. This is what agents are used to. This is what they think that is fair and has been fair for many years. We don't have to do that anymore, but I think this is why you should do this because it might keep the agents from trying to take advantage like it's open to anything because that's what the buyer's agents can thinking. Now, shifting gears. I'm just thinking now I'm a buyer's agent. Buyer's agents, please call me, text me. In my last video, if you saw that, I said in there, this is going to be opportunity for buyer's agents to make more money. How is that, Tony? Well, this is just it's in theory and what I'm working on. If I was an agent, I'm thinking about it. I'm not saying it's an office policy. It's not this, it's just an offer. Wouldn't you like to get paid for your time? Wouldn't you like to get paid for how hard you work as a buyer's agent? What I mean is a tier structure. This is possible. Agents can start doing this. They go, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, to work with me, I'm going to be asking for 2%, either through you or through the seller. But if it takes 4 or 5 months to sell a house, and after I show you 30 plus houses, and I've had X amount of hours in it, now it goes up to 3%. Then you or the seller is going to pay me, or a combination of both will sell, pay me 3% because I have this much time. Oh, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, now we're over 6 months in 50 houses. I've tracked my time. I have X amount of time in it. Now, when you buy, it is 4% that you pay me or seller pay me. Are we legally allowed to do that? I'm not an attorney. Yes, we can do that. We are free. It's a free market. We can charge for our services. So next thing you know, there's a seller out there that says, I'm open. And the buyer, the listing agent is charging them 3.5%, 4%. I'm just throwing out numbers. It's not a standard. It's nothing. I'm just throwing out a number. And next thing you know, buyer's agents are coming in saying, hey, I have an agreement with my buyer. They're asking the seller to pay 4%. Now the seller's like, what? I'm paying like 7, 8%. Why? I don't want that. Well, this is what's happened. This is what might be happening in the future because we've opened up the door to traditional norms. So how far do you want to take the conversation with your sellers on why there is it is beneficial to them? Now I could go on for hours. I know this video is long, but I just wanted to get this out because this is what I've been telling our agents over the last several days. I will continue to say this to our agents over the next several days and weeks and months and for the future, because it's going to open up and why as a broker owner, I feel how crucial it is for sellers and for their benefit to pay a buyer's agent. Now, compensate. Also, as a listing agent, I don't personally list houses. I help my agent list houses every day. Every day we're getting a new listing or more. And I help the ones that want help. I'm coaching, I'm brainstorming how to do different things. Why, as a listing agent, why would want to do all of that extra work for no extra money? So now I'm seeing agents thinking this like, hey, as a listing agent, I normally charge this because we were also paying a buyer's agent. Why would I charge the same amount as a listing agent if we're not paying buyer's agents? I have to do all this extra work. Yeah, will there be agents that want to kill themselves and do this? Yes, there's gonna be. There's always been discount companies and agents and things that'll work for two nickels to sell a house. But why would you want to do all of that work and all of that aggravation for the same amount of money you would had if that? So I have some agents, I've seen videos already. They go, well, why as listing agents we would want to do that to ourselves? And you got to go to your seller and go, okay, well, if I'm going to do all that work because we're not compensated by it, I'm going to be charging you more than I normally charge just for my side of things. We're charging more. So we're back to square one and we're going to do this. Also, no disrespect, when people say that to agents in certain we'll just say states that the values of the house and their real estate market and where they sell houses in such a small circle, because I have agents and broker friends that are in other states, and they go, we're really only allowed to sell right here because we are in this area. To get into another city in the state, we have to pay so much fees, and the boards and MLS in that area, you have to have even worse. I'm sorry, that's my opinion. Brick and mortar in that city or in that county or in that area, they make you have an office as an office, so your agents can't do business in other cities. So in Ohio, love Ohio, we don't have that brick and mortar. What I mean by that, our agents in Cleveland can sell houses in Columbus. We do. We have agents right now in Cleveland that have listings in Columbus. And we have agents in Columbus that sometimes have listings in Cleveland. You could sell any house in Ohio. You're okay to list it, and sell it. In other states, they don't allow that or discourage it or have rules in place where you can't. So the point being is, to some listing agents, I know they're out there and they don't want to say things, be honest like I'm being honest with this and just letting this fly of my opinions. There are great listing agent teams, companies out there that will flat out say, I hate this because I live over here and my listings are all over the state. Can't show these properties myself. If I got a listing that's 3 hours away from me, if the seller says I don't want to pay buyers, I need to compensate buyer's agents because I can't show the property. I can't, but I see these videos of agents in certain states, certain areas. Well, I'm just going to show my own properties then. And just anytime a buyer calls me, well, I'm sorry that in Ohio, our average sale price is like $190,000. And we have lots of buyers that want to see it. And you take a $4 million listing, you might have 3 showings in a month because there's only that many people that have it. And that house is right down the street from your office that you go to every day. Sorry, that's nice and easy for you. And you only need to sell 4, 5, 6 houses a year and you're doing well. Well, you're selling 4, 5, 6 houses in Ohio. You're not, you're still have another job or another source of income. So a lot of what's been said out there is from places and agents that have, I have agent friends, like example, that are in, I'll just say Florida. Their average commission has been $15,000 because their communities, their areas are multi-million-dollar houses that are much smaller than our $150,000 houses. And our average commission up here maybe be 4,000, 5,000 gross before you split it with your company and before you pay your fees and dues and all of that. Agents can't survive on that. So I could keep going, and I appreciate anybody who's watching it this far, but I wanted to give you some things to say in a quick pitch to people, because I've been talking to friends, relatives, people around there not in real estate, and they see the news like this. I go, well, this is what's going to happen. This is not bring down the commissions. It's just, we're going to have to talk about it more. I was telling you about the things that I like. Again, one of the things I like, said this in the video I did the other day, and I'll say it again. One thing I like about this, buyer's agreements. And you set the price. You get to set the price. Like I said, the example, you could have a tier structure, 2, 3, 4%. Just an idea. Not saying we do that. It's just throwing out numbers. Don't want anybody go, Tony's throwing out numbers. You get to set the price. Before, we didn't set the price as buyer's agent. We went out there. Doesn't matter if it was 6 months, 8 months, 10 months. And again, you get to set the price, you get to set the time, you get to do this. And if everybody has to sign a buyer's agreement, it will put us all on the same playing field. So agents don't have to feel, oh no. Just like getting a listing, you have to sign a listing agreement to put a house for sale. You should have a buyer's agreement with a buyer, not just for time, again, remember, this is what another thing I've gone over agents, and tomorrow's video is going to be on what to say to buyers to get them to sign a buyer's agreement. But to give you a little insight, is they're not saying that it's required of time. Someone might sign a buyer agreement for a day, a week, no minimum pay. It could, just like a listing. You could take a listing for a week and you're welcome to put whatever commission structure you want on there. I'm just saying to just lock the buyer down, to at least have a conversation of how you get paid. That's the key. That's the key that I feel that what everything I've read through NAR, the whole key of the lawsuit, the whole key of a lot of it is that we just want transparency, and you as a buyer's agent hopefully are going to be required to say, this is what I want to get paid for all the services. And in that buyer agreement will be all of those services of what you do. And tomorrow I'll go over some of those things, that why you should sign buyer's agreement, and always, and hopefully take out that one fear, because they might find another buyer's agent that won't get them to sign in a buyer's agreement. And hopefully that fear goes away, because I don't hear that with the listings. Never did, because we always required a listing agreement. Never heard of this. One of my agents over 25 years ago, I don't know about this listing. I got to get them to sign a listing agreement. I don't know. They might go with an agent that doesn't require them to sign a listing agreement. No. So as agents, we have to come together and get rid of that fear and be all on the same playing field for the help of not just us, not to be selfish, for the buyers and for the sellers and us together. This is not a buyer's agreement, and I'm going to go over that tomorrow, is not just help the agent, it helps everybody. So that's it. Sorry about the long video. Want to get those points across. Remember, call me, text me, email me, especially your Century 21 Homestar agents. I'm still got lots of phone calls today. I will have phone calls. I'm here to walk you through all of this and guide you and help you and mentor you and train you. And this is not going to stop for me. I know it's not going to be like Tony said on a video and he's never going to have to talk about it again. No, I love it. I love this. And I'm sorry to say in a good or bad way. And if this comes out wrong, I love that I have, it's like a puzzle to me. Let's get this. Let's get this. We could do this, and we're gonna prosper from it. We're gonna help people more, and we're gonna make our industry better, and we're gonna make the buying and selling process better, and we're gonna make this is all. I'm a silver lining type person, and I'm telling you, I promise this is all going to make everything better. I really do believe that. I'm not blowing smoke with that. Coming from someone who's been in real estate and seeing so many changes over the years. Not to talk about 30 years ago and where we are today, things that we did 30 years ago when we'd make different changes. Little thing, I'm keep going. Years ago, we used to just work for the seller. I used to run buyers around, and I would have to sign a listing agency agreement saying I work for the seller, and they would go, "What are you doing?" Well, I didn't agree to that, because we didn't have a consumer guide agency. We weren't legally required to explain to them I work for the seller. There was nothing in like, and then when they say I work for the seller, how does that happen? You don't work for me. I work for the seller. Then when buyer's agency came, a lot of agents like, oh my God, I got to work for the buyer. How am I going to get paid if I don't work for the seller? Because the old way of thinking was I had to represent the seller, even though I know the buyer and don't know the seller, because that's how I get paid. The seller pays me because I work for the seller. Now it changed to this, and this is where we are today. And I honestly think it's better, and it's going to get better. So that's it. And now I'm ending it. Remember, reach out to me, call, text, email me anytime. Have a great day. Bye-bye.